And while we're talking of killer front pages and tabloid headlines, let's go back to last Saturday's Daily Telegraph and take another look at Sherry Markson's now infamous China coronavirus scoop, which ran over 5 pages and kicked off like this.
World exclusive.
China's batty science.
Bombshell dossier lays out the case against the People's Republic.
So why a second look, and why the doubts? Well, for starters, who wrote that bombshell dossier? How accurate were the claims it made? Who wanted the Telegraph to have it? And how plausible is it that the deadly coronavirus was made in or escaped from a Chinese lab? And we ask because the dossier's lab claims have been widely criticised, denied and dismissed by intelligence agencies and virus experts, as you can see from the headlines. Some of News Corp's columnists, like Andrew Bolt and Greg Sheridan, have also dismissed the theory. The Telegraph's front page splashed a big picture of the Wuhan Institute of Virology and its director Shi Zhengli, and told us that she and her fellow scientists were, quote,
the subject of a probe by the Five Eyes intelligence community.
Which is a powerful group of spies from the US, UK, Australia, Canada and New Zealand. The telly also told us the Chinese scientists were accused of destroying evidence of the virus from a Wuhan laboratory, and proclaimed in this headline inside,
government dossier claims incurable virus invented at lab with links to Australia.
Markson described the dossier as a 15-page research document and an agency report, and said it had been prepared by concerned Western governments. And the world's media duly joined the dots, with the Australian calling it a leaked Five Eyes dossier. And sites in the UK and US, like the Daily Wire, Breitbart, the Daily Express and the Daily Mail, followed suit.
Bombshell, Five Eyes Western intelligence dossier.
The leaked files show the nations have evidence the virus was leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Fox News in the US also claimed the dossier came from the intelligence services of the US, UK, Australia, Canada and New Zealand, and invited Markson on. She told Tucker Carlson the dossier's claims were facts, not propaganda, and he praised her for an amazing piece of journalism.
This is the most substantial confirmation of what we suspected that we've had so far. And because it's a multinational effort, I think it would be hard to dismiss it as a political document.
Everyone is taking this very seriously because it's not supported, as you say, by political angles. It's supported by facts. Everything that's contained in this document is factual. But again, in Australia, like in the US, there are, of course, those left-wing sections of the media that don't want to believe that this virus may have leaked from a laboratory. And of course, we don't know that yet. That's being investigated, but they don't want to even think about it.
But it's not just the left-wing media who have challenged it. As we told you last week, Scott Morrison has come down strongly against the lab theory. And since then, Five Eyes intelligence agencies have dismissed it too. And meanwhile, the head of President Trump's coronavirus task force, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has scotched the theory in an interview with National Geographic.
This could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated.
And virus experts like Columbia University's Maureen Miller have queued up to agree.
It's extremely unlikely that this virus originated in the lab.
And as a result, questions are being asked about where the dossier came from and who wanted it published. And suspicion has fallen on the US, where President Trump and his Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, as you may recall, have been busy pointing the finger at China.
Have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
There's enormous evidence that that's where this began.
So, was the telly's bombshell dossier just pushing this White House line? Last week, the Sydney Morning Herald and The Guardian both claimed the dossier was not prepared by the Five Eyes intelligence group and that it was neither secret nor high level.
Senior members of the Morrison government and Australian intelligence agencies at first had trouble finding the document. Eventually, they found a research report based on publicly available information, including news reports, which appeared to fit the description. The research paper contained no information that was generated from intelligence gathering, according to people who have read it.
Hardly a bombshell dossier on that analysis. Or on the verdict of one security source who described it to MediaWatch as, quote, old, filed away, ignored, discarded, and even complete crap. So, where did it come from? The Herald reported,
There are now widespread suspicions within senior ranks of the Australian government and the intelligence community that the document was leaked to the Daily Telegraph by a staff member in the US Embassy in Canberra.
There is no hard evidence for that, and Sherry Markson has certainly not confirmed it, telling the Herald that 2 governments, quote, contributed to the dossier. But she's not said which ones or published it so others may judge. And her scoop has left some outraged. The Herald reported,
Labor MP Anthony Byrne, the deputy chair of the influential Intelligence and Security Committee, was incensed by the report of the dossier.
And added that Byrne had told ministers,
Australia shouldn't accept intelligence that doesn't exist and fall for a tricked-up document.
We're told another member of the Intelligence and Security Committee was appalled by the Telegraph's articles. And on Friday, 2 ex-Labor foreign ministers, Gareth Evans and Bob Carr, a regular China defender, joined the condemnation.
It seems the US Embassy gave a confected report to an Australian newspaper inflating baseless claims that the COVID-19 virus was hatched in a Chinese laboratory in Wuhan.
Pushing the Wuhan lab line in defiance of all intelligence assessments is just another nail in the coffin of US international credibility. It's crucial for our own that we don't get further sucked into Trump's political agenda.
And a third ex-Labor foreign minister and ex-PM, Kevin Rudd, then joined the assault, accusing the Murdoch media of a campaign to get Trump re-elected and comparing the Telegraph's China conspiracy to unfounded stories from 2002 about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction. So, what does Sherry Markson have to say to all this barrage of criticism and suggestions she has been used? Typically, she's not backing down. On Thursday, she complained on Twitter about, quote,
the utter hypocrisy of 9 newspapers dedicating resources of 2 senior journalists over at least 2 days to try expose my confidential sources while going to court to protect their own.
And her editor, Ben English, also went on the attack, calling the criticism a politically motivated smear and adding,
journalists, particularly from the left spectrum of political persuasion, are less interested in pursuing the truth than they are in targeting their rivals via spurious and often bizarre conspiracy theories.
Amazing. If the telly has been used to push the White House line, and the dossier is as dodgy as Australian intelligence sources claim, that is surely a truth we all need to know. The latest news is that Mike Pompeo has now admitted the Wuhan lab theory might be wrong. He wants an inquiry to determine what happened and to expose China's role in any cover-up. And on that, at least, we can all agree.